I perish on an ultra-green bloom day. Oh, of course, right at a meadow lawn littered of red-handedness. It was extremely clear. Your voice made very clear sense. The hugely shiny rocks were very sunk into the ground, which angled up and down for a rippling hill. A very erect sky sucked in its breath and showed its ribs. Everything was horrifying. This, even in winter's, summer's best nick, dusts off and switches out bones, unwebs private clots of pollen, blows them, edible good day corpse. Isn't everything innocent? You're definitely an innocent, just about completely, and you have no advantages. I do really like Shakespeare, but in whatever private way anyone likes any writer that they like. And I like talking about Hamlet, so I like making up excuses to talk about Hamlet. But not everyone likes that play, but I think it's fine. It's really long, but it's good. I did say yes, and at lightning and lashed rod, your voice, Horatio finally achieves a rasp, was pale, it was pretty soggy, it started to have frost on it. It fell out of the rocks around the hills, and it came out of the lake bed. It was freshest when it was snowy, clear, or in unadjustable April crisp cold. It said to you, look who's on his way for you, and look what happened to his father. And to him, advancer, it said in a refracted but unhanded voice, you can see what happened. Do as you wish. Don't listen to a word of anything. Besides, who still here, other than I, do you even know? You can even go home. You can do that. We don't know what happens in your home. Is there any good you face? It got warmer out, progressed away. I couldn't hear you. You dried up. The rocks you were born of, heated figurines of speech. I go look at them. We're both pretty silent, so yes, that same yes. Well, it is very snowy, and it's drifting, and my chest is wiped out. Aw, for no reason, healthy, ugly red church sweat. Aw, let's rejoice again. Let's rest on the blonding coast. Say unfaded. It's not fatal to be you. It doesn't have any consequences. And cheer up. The easy part isn't even easy. You walk like you're just about frozen. Aw, let's rejoice again. This could be your forever, and you're greatly warped. Your roots are hot and thorned, your majesty, this too is in the vision. Oh, and a disembodied, oily voice is present, and it says, you'll melt, you'll thaw, resolve to do. Oh, it's just poignant air. The most afflicting thing is the ruin of a high soul. I have to see you in June, you say it. It took forever, I love a virus, it was very hard to get, to put to work. Hamlet is an extremely long play, and it takes forever to perform, and it takes forever to watch, and it takes a long time to hate if you hate it. If you watch it early, you get the rest of your life to be annoyed by it, which is exciting. Despite how long it is, there's still ridiculous things that had to be cut from it, and I just assumed there was weird shit written for it. In between some scenes near the end, there's this part where Hamlet gets sent off to England by his father-in-law and his mother, who signs off on this also, to just go have his head get cut off in England as a favor, as a diplomatic move that was supposed to be cool. And just in between these two scenes, there's this stupid paragraph. It's 2 or 3 sentences that, with hardly any writing, no iambic pentameter, nothing goofy or weird. It just says so Hamlet got on a ship, and when the ship was heading to England, it got attacked by pirates, and he made friends with the pirates and came home, and then went back and finished the play. And it's just ridiculous. It's the worst writing in the play, and it doesn't get cut out or anything, but the scenes aren't there. It's very weird. This has nothing to do with that. Glides into home. There, it's one of the titles. Takes home away with him. Lose a leg in your sleep. Your innocence is buried alive. It's definitely still alive. It will outlive you. Whatever got buried with it is clawing a way out and will bring itself before your eyes like a blinking, astonished, severed head. Grow up. This is what happens at the end. You rinse out and get soaked again. I know you're the one. Here he is, healthy. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And now and here a grown sail of a man gets waved off once and enough. That's enough, and it's all it takes. So the ghost in Hamlet goes and plants himself in the ground, has no trouble in winter, is clearly fire-fangled all the time, I go do a thing where in a bit of river I can stand in summer and sink in 5 episodes. Mine, it's up front, once grand, once mild, wide, chilled, once in fine detail. This ghost is the thing, earmarked, sleeps off, doesn't have to wake up, gets grayer and grainy, his head billows, gets bitter, and this is the best part, the livid ghost has violet significant scars on it, and they say this is it. The scars are dialogue on reflective thin ice that's freakishly elastic. So I write poetry and I talk about poetry, and so I think about poetry, and I sometimes write poetry about poetry. So here's one of those. I apologize in advance. Not too many people have seen these, so like sometimes it's, whatever. It has to be this good. The poems even introduce themselves. Hi, hello, I know how you are. Hey, I know, I owe you more than one. So this hatches right out of your calves. When you're awake and upright, all bright air that deafens and blinds, and the air coughs up a remarkable pair of phrases in taxing coughs. I know you. I take something away from you every day. So you feel lighter every day. So you vibrate off to sleep as a piece of echo holding still, and there's a sunburnt echo that stays up all night, basically swooning and relaxed on your lips. It's not your words, and it's just lying down on your lips. At once at big dawn. It's alive, I suppose, it's ringed with memory, and then it remains, moans and mans up and calls out, wraps a sweaty weed around the station and makes it fragrant, and so on, and it says to you, tapping on your glass, I'm hissing at you, I'm trying to save face and soften foam, a tune to head you off at the past, this one, this hour, it's permanent. Now that's out of the way, what do you want infinite refills of? You can be fulfilled, and just whistle at the mermaid and pass. Don't touch the pillars on your way in. For solutions of rain and song and refrain, select your brain from the drop-down menu. Yours is there, hands on its knees, wheezing, explaining, moistened and christened, grinning, and kind of checked out. Fall up. Walk it off, robed in white. Soft dinner table chips at my forehead, which woke up to reverse me and to make it look bad. The flaming lawn gets extinguished, creeps under my nails, starts to take me back, sits me up in bed, by and by, bites off a toe. My, you are meaningfully partially translucent. How many words have you said? Did you use up your voice yet? Your hurt hand, it did get better. This is the one where your pain just keeps getting relieved. I really want to thank Nikki for everything she said at the audience. She said like 140 things that make the next 140 days like a lot more exciting and intense and excellent. So I'm like really glad that we got to hear her talk mellifluously tonight. The classic limit. My backup hurts forever in grave retreat. Attention, we suffer as long as I suffer, sweet. You wouldn't believe you wanted it. Wanted to be chained to your sunken friend, to the best seat in your friend's sunken house. It's such a huge oversight with pity and love. I get to love almost perfectly in terrific long spectacle. Don't go, oh, go on. The trial and the error of the footwork under your scalp. A privilege, dear, please accept more suffering, fearlessly and for all. And eventually, you become anonymous. Oh, and take rest where you let friends take rest, sir, dear hothead. Hothead, give way, good on you. Our friendship, our marriage, dear, its heart stiffened on luxuriated slow autumn. Ah, you must at least have a chief shame handling your grace at every armchair's armrest. Stuffy and lazy and doomed in full, I paid for the mystery to be even fuller, for that muse to sign off. I'm pulling off your legs. I don't get to know what those mean. I got to write them, and I get to think what I think about them, but they're different when you say them at people. Buying shirts, buying ties. How good do you want to look? You can look extremely good. Someone else might place you in a welcome hell. How good do you want to look? You look great. You'll walk right in and walk right out. You can frequently get squeaky clean in front of a spectrum of mirrors. How bright are you? And right now? It's hot and everything outside is white, and I can't see where things stop. Even after you go blind, the brightness just keeps ticking up, all in a harbor of windows. How good do you want to get to look? There's no limit. Keep looking up. You don't even get to stop. Add more ribs, and be lifted at their attention. I mean, 4 white-lipped men in turns will uplift you by them, the ribs. This drains your breath, and it puts you to sleep, and you sleep with white-lipped smooches on your head and neck. You get whiter, your speech is more fluid and gravid with a crispy fifth gospel. I know it, and keep it to yourself. See how far it sinks in. Listen for the splash, rib wrecked, wash ashore for good, an urn of the ancient Greek heads, it tears you apart. You're even seen being torn up. Absolute, this isn't enough, and you wouldn't know. Some rights. And that's not like Bill of Rights, it's like ritual rights. There's a difference. You get that. You didn't read that explained. The ends, you didn't write, you didn't call, but a text writ close to your neck. I didn't know. I'm constantly long in the middle. My head gets thicker. The first ditch effort wipes out your knee, my gosh, on a lot of abandoned, hallowed, friendly grounds. The limbs, gasping uprooted roots, the digits, sealed, dumb faucets. Your heart, it's let in so low. More life for Troy, what do you get to see? Let you get left there, part you in halves. You do fine with half, and stay put. Rich dust roped off. Shoreline getting its face kicked. Pitches dust, a shield, an old world record, and a torched church. Rachel mentioned that I like to pretend that I have a lot of things that I say that I'm influenced in. And sometimes that's like pop music, or like an embarrassing 80s movie, or like movies that everyone's seen and knows parts of. But I usually hope those things are like concealed enough that they don't come out. But like, so there's some like Arcade Fire song lyrics in this one, and I should just never tell anybody that. And I hope that no one cared and everyone's tuned out. That's fine by me. My neighborhood. You climb out the chimney and that's where the neighborhood ends. Grows its hair out. The neighborhood fires up. The bricks go soft on you. Your old man should know. Hey, the bricks had a late growth spurt and they got choked up. The neighborhood holds up. It holds water. You have to ask where you grew up and it gets made up. It flexes and relaxes and goes to rest. It wrote everything down. Okay. All right. We'll try and whip through just a few more. Him, the good dry man, merely vulgar, waits outside and dries out the cold summer river segment. He does it all by himself, shows his work by running his nails down the chilly surface. And he breathes on it and moves its fog off. And the river happens to be your fog-capped feet. And the rest of you is fairly durable, vulgar fog. Bless you fumes, snowfalls, the one night you get, which is not to say anything should be done with it, in which you'll find yourself in loud, chest-high clarity. A red noon gong rings anyway. The good dry man then blows gray pain on you, which is fine. You blow up, neck first, I'm holding out for you. Today, each of the days, down the road, see you on a bright night. Just make them good, but you especially. Go east forever. Gold clouds skipped off a car and split open. Oh, did you know it? I always want you when you're leading a gasping casket. It's open and heat comes off, and it puts itself to sleep. Yellow airbag deploys and bites off both hands. Sigh, you don't do anything. Maybe just 2 more, 3 more? We'll see. The family plot gets much thicker. Starting out, ripe already, and autumn gets whiter, longer, takes forever. And autumn gets older, digs deeper, starts to find you. You've grown thicker in your frostborn season. And autumn gets to finish you off in an unlimited field, puts marks on you and yours. Winter's dark breath is on all fours. Tells you this much in enough frost. You do have to know everyone's name and where they sleep and how to make them stay at rest. Autumn yellows and grays goodbye and backs out, constantly backs out and skins you alive. I'll do one more Hamlet poem and then I think we can wrap up. You know, how are you now? Oh, so where did you grow up and what time was it? How many Hamlets and big time resurrections were there? What was the best Elsinore you stayed in? Did you get to leave and with whom did you go? Who did you talk to? Outside, what were the things you looked at longest? All right, how high was the corn? How thick were the trees? How warm was the stream? How warm was the earth? Did you sweat? Does it seem like you sweat less now? You do have tons of answers. They weigh in tons. You can tell truth weighs that much. An abundance of truth, a dominant surplus. You can answer to it. Where were we? Were you distracted by any ghosts? Did they speak to you? Did someone tell you the ghosts were distracted? What did anyone say to you? What was anyone else distracted by? Did the ghost say, I know exactly what to recommend? Could you tell if anything was significant? No, really, was there even a way to know? Did you go again? Where have you been buried, and is your body down there? I know. I officiated a wedding like 5 months ago, and will probably not get asked to do another wedding. But at the very beginning, I started doing my preamble, and someone before I started talking did the whole like please rise thing, and I guess I figured they had that in charge, like they were gonna close that off for me, and then I just like got into my thing, and like 20 minutes later, the bride was tugging my sleeve. She leaned forward and was like, tell them to sit down. And her back was to them. Like, she just knew they were still standing up. She could, like, feel them having a very, like, terrible, sweaty day. Like, it was just in a barn at, like, a really hot, awful day, but it was nice. It was okay. In a suburb of Des Moines. And by suburb, I mean it was, like, 3 hours away. It took forever to get there, but, yeah. So then I finally told everyone to sit down. I didn't like doing that, it was weird. Like, I don't think they needed the advice. Your guts are showing. Good, you're seated. Glad you turned up. So there are these big, ultra bright bushes. They flash white and they calm in green. They grow through you. You've never rested, have you? So what happens at the end, right? It's stunning. You get stunned, you split up, you get really lost, badly. Anyone who wants to find you has to look so hard at the final roots. Anyone you want to find, you have to look so bad at the smallest, most weakling detail. And it's likely you won't see it. What if it's even howling this whole time? It is that bad, but you get to be quick, and you don't even have to last long. All right, last one. It's called Right After the Banquet. The old men melted down, the women, much younger, branched out. The wooden bridgeway wandered off, the willows shut off the garden, the pond took a deep breath, the closest cloud pro-gusted a gale, the moss, neat buzzed, went green to white. A small hand raked the inside of my cheek, a hand rolled out of my head, and out came also a bright red rib, an eye, a drowned fellow, a bonewood communion. Pull the green, white, gold hair out of the ground. Aw, a whole skull comes out. And then I wipe off my forehead, and my forehead wipes off. Blurry white air, airbrush of a willow branch. White air stacks up from the ground up, the hale refleshment of the body. You have your flesh, and it gets breathed in. You pruned from the pond, and the willow switched off in the lightning, and then you get another life, too. Thanks, everyone.